Hello everybody, it's Rachel here at Clarty Hands Crafts. Today I'm showing you how to make a nice little folio using a couple of pieces of A4 cardstock. The stuff that I used here was 120 GSM, but you could probably use something a bit thicker if you wanted to, such as 160 to make it a little bit more stable, but this worked fine for what I needed it for. So I'm dividing this piece into thirds, and that is 99mm if you're interested on an A4 piece. Sorry that I don't have the conversions to inches, but you can find converters on the internet. So that was 99mm for these. So I score both pieces of A4 paper, and then I'm folding the outsides to the inside on one piece, both folding upwards, if you see what I mean. And that creates a kind of U shape, like so. And then the second piece is folded into a Z shape, so one piece goes forwards and the other piece goes backwards, and that'll create your Z. Then I'm cutting a little thumb notch out using a circle punch, and that will just give you a little space to pop your fingers under and grab whatever it is that you decide to hide in the pocket. So this is our first pocket that we're creating. Gluing it on three sides, not the side with the thumb notch, and placing it on the centre panel of the U-shaped piece. So I'm just folding everything to make sure that it's going to reach round, and then creasing it all down together as well. So then we've got a little insert which folds out. So now I'm going to create the front cover by matting and layering some cardstock over the top. So I've used this design pad that I've got stocked in my shop. It's called Perfect Moments, I believe. And this is really good for doing shabby chic style journals and ephemera. Ink all of the edges on that piece. I inked the edges of the underneath panel as well, and then the top one's going to be glued down into position using plenty of tacky glue. I rounded the corners to make sure that you know which side lifts up. It just gives it a more professional finish. And place it down. Make sure you smooth out all the bumps. So I'm going to start doing some of the inner panels now. Again, rounding the corners of the open edge. It gives it a kind of envelope look. This Perfect Moments paper pad comes in all shades of pinks and browns, creams, and it's perfect for using on a shabby chic theme, which you know that I love because I do it all the time. I like this pad because it comes in all different textures as well, so there's some different sort of linen textures and some pearlescent ones as well. Some pieces are double-sided, which comes in useful when you're doing things like this, when you want lots of different designs on your pages. So this is a strip that I'm cutting down to make a side-loading pocket, but with this one I want to see what's behind it, so I'm cutting it quite shallow, if you see what I mean, so that when something's inside, that it'll be poking out slightly, so you'll be able to see what's in it. So I'm putting another thumb tab. It's not really necessary, but it just adds a little bit more detail to what we're doing here. And I'm going to glue that into position after inking it once again. Having a nightmare with my tacky glue as always. It always clogs up because, well, let's face it, I always forget to put the lid on. You know, it's quite an important step when you're trying to stop your glue from drying out. So I'm smoothing that down once again to make sure that it's well stuck, and then choosing my next paper from the pad I'm going for something quite neutrally coloured this time, since I've done the darker brown and the pink. It's time to do a bit of the cream colour. Now for this one, I believe that I was doing a just plain background piece, so that you've got somewhere that you can stick photographs directly onto it. You can also add frames and things onto your photographs if you wish. I really like that stripe pattern as well, and I did use that for some other pockets which you'll see shortly. So with each piece that I'm sticking down, I've left that equal border all the way around. And then this is what I'm going to make the small pockets out of. And cutting some thumb tabs out of those as well. It is worth taking your time to make sure that they're lined up as best you can. So if you have an off-centre thumb tab, it is going to look a bit odd. So you want to leave an even gap above each pocket. So you can use a ruler if you want to be ultra precise about it, but I just eyeball it and just make sure that the gap above each pocket is about the same, just so that it looks even. If it's wonky, then you do kind of follow it with your eye and it'll annoy you. So this one's going to be a triangle tuck spot slash pocket. And I just kept that one plain. Again, the detail is going to be in the things that you place inside, so it doesn't have to be over the top with decoration. So that concertina centre section just gives you a few extra spaces to put pieces of ephemera when you're decorating. So this next section is going to be another plain one. And I think this was one of those pieces of paper that was textured. Ink the edges. Oh, I showed you the whole thing of the inking. I try to cut those out as much as I can because I know it can be boring to watch. Plenty of glue again to stick it down. You can tell I'm getting less and less careful with my glue as the tutorial goes on. Now the next section is going to be covering the pocket that I made at the very start. Now this is a little bit trickier because I don't have a larger hole circle punch than the one that I originally used. So what you would really want is one that's a bit bigger so that it makes a nice curve. So what I had to do was just create my own curve by punching several times and then snipping it with scissors in the end. So this wasn't the most professional way of doing it, but it got the job done. scissors out, it's easier. She says. She makes an absolute hash of it. But that's the wondrous thing about doing shabby chic themes. You can always pass it off as being shabby on purpose. Glue around those 3 edges. Oh, actually, I think I realised there that I don't need to just do 3 edges, I need to do the whole panel, because the pocket is already behind the ivory card. This is just to decorate it. And then that's getting glued into position. I think this is the final one. And then I create a vertical belly band with a spare strip of paper, so that photographs or journal cards and things can be inserted behind it. Now it's time to make a fastening. So I cut a circle using my circle punch, and this was just to make a bit more of a focal point in the eyelet that I'm going to be adding. So just give me a moment to get the eyelets out of the packet, which is a bit tricky because I haven't got them all organised into little storage boxes or anything. They're just floating around in this bag. And then I'm going to use the crocodile to punch a hole in the centre. So now I'm measuring where to put that hole, to put the circle rather. So I'm measuring halfway, placing a dot so that I know where to punch through. The crocodile comes out again, we punch the hole, line it up, place the eyelet through, then the washer rests on the bottom of the crocodile. You line it up and crunch it. And then you should have a nice smooth washer and eyelet combination so that you don't scratch yourself or cause any damage with that backing. Now I can't remember what I'm doing here. What's this piece for? Oh, the back panel. I realised afterwards that I'd left the back panel blank, so I've just added a bit of covering paper that I had left over. Just so that it looks nice from all angles. I actually think I might have edited this in the wrong order because the eyelet disappeared there, didn't it? Never mind, doesn't make much difference. I thought it's something that I'd done at the last minute, but obviously not. Right, so this is 2 pieces of jute twine and 2 pieces of kind of eyelash trim. It's actually a knitting yarn with hairy bits on. I don't think that that's the actual name of it, but you get the idea of what I used. And that was just to add some more texture to make it a bit more exciting to look at. So that's been threaded through the eyelet and then just wrapped around several times and then tied together in a bow. And it looks really nice if you ask me. This is a nice piece to send out to people I've added some photographs, just stuck those in with washi tape, some tags which coordinate with the theme, another photograph that I had in my stash, some interesting journal cards. You can buy those in the shop if you would like something a bit different to the normal square journal cards. And then I popped some little pieces in that larger pocket at the back. And that's a little envelope that I made, and some more journal tags and cards. So there you have it. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and gave you a bit of inspiration to make your own. So thank you very much. I'll see you again next time.